Who doesn't love cheesy garlicky rolls with their dinner? Today, we're gonna make some delicious, cheesy, garlicky rolls in your trusty bread machine. You're gonna need to allot about 3 hours, 3.5 hours in order to make these garlic rolls. But let's face it, you're using your bread machine, and your bread machine is going to do most of the hard work. So it's just a matter of time. So plan early in the day, around noontime you might want to get started, and then you can have delicious, easy, cheesy garlic rolls for your dinner. In case you're new to making bread or rolls with your bread machine, let's go over 2 basics. First off, we're going to be using just the dough cycle to make these rolls. And secondly, it's important the way that you put your ingredients into your bread machine. So follow along and make sure that when you make this recipe, you're putting your ingredients in the order that I specify. We're starting with the liquids, and in this measuring cup, I have 1 large egg at room temperature that I've mixed up and then added enough water to reach the 1 cup mark. That's going in first. Next, we're adding oil, and this is extra virgin olive oil for the flavor. Next is 1/3 cup of sugar. Sugar is going to give these rolls a little sweetness and will help the yeast. Next is salt, 1 teaspoon of table salt. Now when you're making bread, you want to keep your salt separated from the yeast. So the next part is to put in the bread flour, 3.5 cups of bread flour. Fluff your flour and level it off using a knife. After I add the flour, I like to just take my knife that I use to level the flour and spread the flour around so that it's just even in the pan of the bread machine. And then finally, we're adding the yeast. And I like to choose a yeast that's made for bread machines. It's a rapid rise yeast. It doesn't need any proofing. Just sprinkle that evenly across the top of the flour. Close the lid to the machine. Plug it in. Hear the beep, it's on. Select the dough cycle. It says it will take 1 hour and 30 minutes, and then hit start. The ingredients start to mix. We're going to let it do its magic, and then we'll come back to check to make sure that it has enough moisture in it. It's been about 2 minutes and I'm ready to check. And this dough is a bit dry. It's winter time, and winter has less humidity in the flour. So I'm adding a tablespoon of warm water just to put a little more moisture into the pan. I'm just about ready to remove the roll dough from the bread machine. And so to get ready for that, I'm chopping 3 very large heads of cloves of garlic very finely. I have 3 tablespoons of butter melting in the microwave. And I'm going to mix this garlic, this minced garlic, with 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. This is going to be the topping for the rolls. I've also greased an 8x8 baking dish. You can use round, you can use square, whatever size suits your fancy. I have oiled my hands with some olive oil. And now I'm going to cut the dough into 9 pieces, and I've lightly floured my surface. So just cut your dough. Once you have your dough cut into 9 pieces approximately equal in size, you want to fold them over and so the top of each piece of the dough is smooth. And then I like to lay it on my countertop and give it a very light roll under my hand that is cupped. And that makes a nice shape for the roll. Then I'm going to dip the roll in the butter, then into the Parmesan and garlic mixture, and place it into the pan. And I'll be putting 3 to a row. I do have a little bit more of the cheese and garlic mixture and the butter mixture left over. And so I'm going to drizzle that over the rolls. Want all this delicious yumminess. And then the Parmesan, more Parmesan and garlic. Now we're going to cover the rolls and let them rise for about an hour or until they're double in size. After an hour, the rolls have doubled in size and we're ready to go into the oven, a 325-degree Fahrenheit oven, for about 30 to 40 minutes. Let's see what we've got, shall we? Look at the size of these babies. Beautiful. Beautiful.